Hello, Pre-Algebra students. This is Chapter 5.6, using multiplicative inverses to solve equations. In our previous lesson, we learned to use reciprocals to divide fractions. Now we're going to move on to the next step, which is using multiplicative inverses to solve equations. Multiplicative inverses are used to solve equations with fractional coefficients. The multiplicative inverse of any non-zero number is the number's reciprocal. For example, if we have a coefficient of 3/5, the multiplicative inverse would be 5 over 3 equaling 1. So the product of a number and its multiplicative inverse will always be 1, very much like a reciprocal. If we had a coefficient of a over b, the multiplicative inverse would be b over a, and when we multiply them across, our answer would be 1. This is assuming that neither a or b is equal to 0. Let me show you an example. Let's solve this equation. 4/7 x is equal to -12. In order to solve, we need to isolate x. And in order to isolate x, we're going to multiply each side of this equation by its multiplicative inverse. So we're going to take 7/4 times 4/7 x equals -12 times 7 over 4. So let's go ahead and work this out. This 7/4 times 4/7 gives us x, 1x. -12 times 7/4, if we cross reduce, we get -21. So the solution to our equation is -21. We can check our work by substituting in 21. If we cross reduce here, we get 1 and 3, giving us -12 equals -12. So yes, we did our work correctly. Our answer is -21. Our next example has a two-step equation. Solve for x if -11/15 x plus 4/5 equals 1/3. So our first step is to subtract 4/5 from each side. Giving us -11/15 x being equal to, let's see, we need a common denominator here, so it would be probably 15. So 5/15 minus 12/15 on this side. So -11/15 x equals -7/15. Hold on, let me give us some more space. All right, now we can go on. So now we will multiply by the multiplicative inverse to find the solution for x. So now we need to multiply each side by -15/11. Okay, so on this side we are left with just 1x. On the right-hand side, let's see, we can reduce. Each of these becomes 1. Our negative signs cancel one another out. And our final answer is 7/11. Let's go back and substitute that in to make sure it's correct. Our original equation was -11/15 x plus 4/5 equals 1/3. So -11/15 times 7/11 plus 4/5 equals 1/3. Give us a little more space here. Let's see, these will cancel out, giving us -7/15. Plus, I'm going to go ahead and put this over 15 because I know I need to change my denominator to give us 12/15, equaling 1/3. -7 plus 12 gives us, excuse me, an answer of 5. And 5/15 is indeed the equivalent fraction for 1/3. So yes, we did do our work correctly. Our answer is x equals 7/11. Now try these problems on your own. Solve the equation and check your solution. Please show both steps. When you're finished, we will write and solve a two-step equation working from a word problem. Let's finish up this lesson with a word problem that requires us to create and solve an equation using multiplicative inverse. Stalactites are icicle-shaped stone formations found on cave ceilings. There's a picture right here. They form from minerals deposited by dripping water. Suppose a stalactite is 10 inches long and is growing at a rate of about 1/8 of an inch per decade. How long will it take the stalactite to reach a length of 1 foot? Let's start this process by writing a verbal model of what we need to calculate. So we're going to start with the current length. And to that we need to add the growth rate, which is 1/8 of an inch, times the number of decades, to equal 12 inches, or the new length, which needs to be at least a foot, so I'm going to put in 12 inches for that. Okay, now let's go in and substitute in the numbers that we know. The current length is 10 inches. We're going to put X for the number of decades, and that equals 12 inches. Okay? Let me make us a little bit more space here. And now let's solve. We need to subtract 10 inches from each side, giving us 1/8 X is equal to 2 inches. And then we need to multiply by the multiplicative inverse, which will be 8/1 on each side, giving us a final solution of X equals 16 decades. So it'll be 160 years before that stalactite grows another 2 inches to equal a full length of 12 inches or 1 foot. And that concludes lesson 5.6. I'll see you tomorrow to do more work together on using multiplicative inverse. Have a great night.